Well, hello.
Hi.
Hello, who are you?
I'm Dee Dee from DUM DUM GIRLS.
Played my album before?
Not technically. We played a festival about an hour outside on the coast somewhere. So this is our first proper taste of playing the city, I suppose.
And how did your music go down at the festival?
I think it went down terribly, but it was okay. I love being outside, but I think our band lends itself to playing at night in a club more so than at about 3 p.m. in direct sunlight to people who have never heard of us, versus fans. So.
Yeah. How long did you spend working on the album, writing the album?
I would say that the songs were written over a course of probably about a year. In those brief moments of not being on tour, and then probably half the album was written sort of jam-packed right before we recorded it. But it was definitely very much a book-ended album. It dealt with just about a year's worth of shit. Whereas, the first record and other things were sort of, topics were more of a free-for-all.
Do you have a problem exposing yourself more and more? Like you've exposed yourself so much more than you did on the first album.
Yes, that's true. I mean, it certainly wasn't by design. I think it was just sort of, I'm the kind of person, I suppose, that can only write, what is coming out of me for the most part. So, I couldn't help but write a significantly more personal record than the first record. But at the same time, I mean, I think that that's often what resonates with listeners more. So I guess that I feel like it was an okay step to take, albeit a bit more public with, than I might have, chosen to do if I'd been planning. The first people that I idolized when I was really little probably were Elvis from my dad, Sinatra, and Grace Slick probably from my mom's collection. She was really into Jefferson Airplane, and therefore so was I. I used to try to imitate, her inflection and the tone of her voice when I was really little.
What does your father think of your sound? Has he tried to steer it towards his influences?
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's sort of funny. I mean, he's probably been to every show I've played, within 100 miles of.
Does he live in California?
The Bay Area, yeah, in the East Bay near Berkeley. And so he's seen me in like every form imaginable, and he certainly enjoyed the fidelity of Only in Dreams more so than anything else DUM DUM GIRLS has ever done. But he's supportive either way. He came on one of our last European tours, and we have a pretty consistent sound engineer, Lex, who's with us here too. And my dad would sort of give him a hard time every night about the amount of effects or the level in the mix. And it's pretty endearing.
Is this just as a listener, or does he actually know how to play music, make music himself?
It's more as a listener. I mean, he, like I said, is a shower singer. No, he's got a phenomenal voice. I mean, it's definitely his side of the family that, sort of it trickled down on. But he was from, that generation where your creative leanings couldn't really be nurtured or, explored. It was, go into the trades and take care of your family sort of vibe.
Yeah. Is it right that you've cited Madonna as one of your influences?
Yeah.
Which era, or just generally? Or
generally, I mean, she's something that I love all sorts of music, and sometimes I love particular periods of certain bands, but I will always respect progression in an artist, and she's one of those you know, people that has, I think, stayed relevant, you know, despite spending however many decades she has in, you know, sort of the pop world. And I love all of, you know, her classic 80s hits. You know, I think some of those songs are examples of perfect
And you were saying Courtney Love is another one?
She was, you know, big back when I was saying I was a huge Nirvana fan. I was also a huge Hole fan. I really identified with one of their songs. I think it's called Olympia, where there's this line, you know, what do you do with a rebel who's shy? That was the conundrum I found myself in, you know, because I had all these aspirations, but they didn't really, I couldn't make them happen because I was extremely shy and self-conscious. There was no way to.
Did you find yourself still being shy and self-conscious when it came to performing as DUM DUM Girls?
Sort of. I mean, I'd played in bands for quite a few years before, so it wasn't like I was new to it. But I think that because DUM DUM Girls started as a much more anonymous, you know, faceless recording project, and then sort of, you know, overnight turned into a band, it was a bit of a culture shock in that sense, because I wasn't necessarily going for that when I started, but obviously, you know, this is all I've ever wanted to do, so I had to give it a go.
Yep. So you've mentioned that you've collaborated with your husband. Will we ever see an official husband and wife?
Yeah.
Oh, tell us more.
Yeah, we just started working on it. I don't know, I mean, it's not a secret, but it's not terribly defined at this point, but you know, we just moved to New York and we finally have some time off together and some time home, and you know, you can relax after being on tour for 10 months straight, but at about 2 weeks you're like, wow, I can't just watch movies and take walks and stuff. I have to do something creative or I will get depressed. So we started writing some songs together, and it was funny, the first one, you know, was sort of a collaboration musically, and then, you know, I got this idea for a melody, but I was too embarrassed to like just present it and sing it, so I made him go like in the bathroom or something, and I recorded it, and then I played it, and he liked it, and that was cool. And so that was sort of the icebreaker, and now we're much more comfortable.
Have you given it a name?
No, not totally.
Cool. Well, I look forward to hearing that. So, going back to your female influences, and you've mentioned Madonna, are there any other female influences of current pop music that you enjoy?
I mean, I guess I'm not sure about current pop music. I mean, Patti Smith is one of my absolute favorites, and she obviously still performs. So I guess you could sort of say her. She's not exactly on the pop side of things. I don't know. I mean, I don't listen to a ton of modern pop music in like an obsessive sort of way, but I definitely enjoy pop music in, you know, pretty much all of its forms. I like people that have big things to say and big personalities. I don't listen much to Lady Gaga, but I've always thought it was pretty fantastic that she's very outspoken about topics that, you know, you wouldn't normally see a top 40 artist being so upfront about. I don't really know other than her.
Have you ever attempted to write a pop song and give it to a pop star?
No, I mean, I think that because this still feels so new to me, I'm very attached to songs I write, but I like the idea of it. You know, it's really interesting to me if you sort of take yourself out of it, make it a little less personal, but just focus more on like the art or the craft of songwriting.